Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Team Fortress TV's coverage of ESEA Season 28 Grand Finals, froyotech versus Ascent. My name is Cornpop. I'll be your caster tonight alongside Console, and Drshdwpuppet will be on production. We also have a panel of expert invite analysis consisting of Jarett and Speedy from Velocity Esports, and Paddie from New Godflow. Guys, nobody wants to hear me ramble on for any longer, so please talk about this match for us.
Well, we have Gullywash first, followed by Metalworks, and then if need be, tiebreaker would happen on process. Gully being picked by Froyo, Metalworks being picked by Ascent, and then process being the map left over for the tiebreaker. Of course, first up, people are flooding into the Gully server now. I got like, 10-ish in server, more flooding in. And this Gullywash match is actually going to be a rematch of Upper Bracket Finals. That match was Gullywash and Sneakwater. It happened like a week ago or so. And it seems like Froyo is confident enough that, they played it once, even though it was a 4-2 and it wasn't a dominant Froyo showing as they're usually known for. They're confident that they'll be able to take another win here. Paddie, I know you very recently have played Froyo on Gullywash. How do you feel about their Gullywash play going into this particular match?
It's hard to say with Froyo. They're renowned for playing scrims and sort of mucking about and screwing around a lot of the time, just because they're at a level now where a lot of people don't give them a challenge. But based on the scrim results that we had just recently, I would probably say that they're looking really solid. I mean, we were somewhat competitive with them, but I think that was mostly in the transition areas where it sort of shades chaos and his classic aggro crits, shenanigans that he's known for that tended to just get a little out of control. So I imagine that in this grand final we won't be seeing too much of that. But perhaps it might come out. In terms of the mids, though, definitely on this map, Froyo has extremely strong mids with just Blaze and Yomps with their double soldier aggression, just absolutely unhinged, really. And Habib just rolling the big door, preventing meds from climbing up. So I don't know. I would say they're looking really strong on this map and strong in general.
And then on the other side of the coin, we have Ascent, who I think they've played a lot of Gully this regular season. Maybe at least 3 Gully matches regular season, and maybe like a 4th one at least for playoffs. Speedy, how do you feel about Ascent playing on Gully this season? I know we played them in our regular season match.
In our scrims and matches, they're gonna have to win mids if they want to have a good chance at this map. That's their biggest flaw, I feel like, from playing them in the past. If they can win mids and kill Shade, then they'll be in a good spot to take some rounds, I think.
I agree, especially because I feel like Gullywash is Habib's bread and butter, probably, I'd say.
He's very good at Gullywash.
Yeah, and especially mids, if you let him run a train on your team, then you're gonna lose the mid for sure. But if you put too many resources on him, then sure, you'll control him, but resources otherwhere are probably better spent, and you're gonna lose somewhere else. So I would say mids are definitely very important for this team. I'd agree. When it comes to the matchup, like I said, in Upper Bracket Finals last week or so, there was a 4-2 scoreline and went the full hour long. Didn't go to 5 and end it prematurely. Not sure if we're really looking at the same thing this time, because both teams are kind of familiar with the way that the other team is going to be approaching play style and strategies in terms of playing this map in particular. So not really sure if Froyo is going to be able to just, Ascent does this and beat them, or if Ascent's going to figure out what they need to do to stuff Froyo's permacrits more. When it comes to predictions, personally, I kind of feel like Froyo is going to be able to see the mistakes they made to make the match very slow paced and not bring it to a full 5 points last time, and I feel like they'll be able to close it out with maybe like a 5-1, maybe like 28 minutes or so.
Yeah,
at least this time around.
I think it's going to be most likely a 5-1.
I'm going to give them one more round. I'd say 5-2. I think they could get 2 rounds off them just because of, I think they could do it. I think they got it in them. But I definitely would say that the matchup strongly favors Froyo. And like you said, in terms of mids, when it comes to just if you overinvest into Habib, then you have Yomps and Blaze to deal with. You overinvest in a Yomps and Blaze, then you have Habib, Eric, and Banny to deal with, and it's kind of that's always been the struggle with this team the entire season. Is you think you figured it out? Oh, all right, we gotta focus Habib down. He's doing a lot. You focus him down. All of a sudden, Yomps and Blaze is in your face, and you don't know what to do anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Usually, I think maybe part of the reason why the matchup was a little bit slow paced in the upper bracket finals for Gullywash last time might have been the permacrits a little bit, because aside from last, this isn't really the best, crits map, at least I would say.
Yeah, a lot of chokes.
It's really hard and really awkward to take a crits into a choke, or if you go big door, you get spotted super early and it's kind of obvious that you're doing it. So maybe that's a little bit of the reason why it took so long for them to, finally, well, they didn't even close it out, at least finally take a lead for you. Do you guys think that at any point Shade will actually get off of it on this map in particular? Maybe even for the whole matchup? He's been on a crits train for a long while, and I don't really know if it's going to stop. This is the first time that we've seen them kind of slow down in their victories.
I will say that that's entirely dependent on how well Ascent can adjust to the crits. If they're getting good at shutting it down and, they're not able to get a lot of openings, I mean, you definitely know that Banny's going to be in Shade's ear there going, get off crits. That's enough of this. It's time to go Uber and, play our game like we usually do. But I don't know. I mean, the crits is always a hard thing to deal with. Froyo being one of the only teams in Invite I find that consistently practices with it, that they've gotten very, very good at using it, and just certain things that I think a lot of teams aren't used to, and so it gives them an edge in many ways, just something to pull out at random, and they can do it very well. So
especially if Habib is on fire, and since it's grand finals, he's going to be showing up tonight, no slacking off, because this is for all the marbles.
Oh yeah, those marbles.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just start off on crits, but if it's not looking very good, I'm pretty sure they'll just swap off after one or two fails with it.
I would like to note sort of a contrast in playstyles that I've noticed having scrimmed against both of these teams throughout the season. I believe a lot of the show on Ascent is run by Nursey, and I noticed that Ascent is typically they tend to do a lot more passive mids and plays in general. They're a little bit of a slower paced team, and they don't really go all balls to the wall aggression like Froyo does. And so it's kind of interesting to see that contrast of playstyles here, whereas Froyo is just absolute disrespect to the maximum. So
yeah, they like to spam a lot, just especially for their mid fights. Just they'll set up, post up in a spot, try to knock some health pretty low on the opposite side, and then initiate. But I'm not sure if playing slow is going to be that amazing, especially if crits is being run to mid. Might force them into something that they're not necessarily comfortable or maybe haven't practiced as much with. But I guess only time will tell. We have all 6 in servers, so I'm kind of just waiting on this to start off here. But I think we're
starting
here.
to go live,
Starting.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Those predictions, 5-1, 5-1, 5-2. It looks promising for froyotech. I think I would have to agree. This is their map pick. They're the strongest team in the world. And we're starting the first half console.
Yes, we are. We're going into the first mid of ESEA Invite Grand Finals, Froyotech versus Ascent, and I'm going to be watching Habib here as he rolls out into this choke. He's going to be getting here standard 29-47 time. Just going to be spamming pipes over. Actually, we see a D-bomb here early onto the left side from Blaze. Both teams just kind of playing their side right now. Not doing too much out of the ordinary, but we actually do see a soldier in the big door. Actually gonna get bombed. Air shot down is Marmaloo. And Ascent sometime Young is gonna be taken down too. As Ascent 3 players down now are gonna have to leave the mid. Not before they get Shade though, and all of the chaos that happened, they will find that silver lining. As Nursey will also make it out and leave him with a significant Uber advantage.
The Soldier Show debuting for Froyotech on that first mid. They got every single kill for the team. One silver lining, as you mentioned, Zayler hitting a nice pipe onto Shade, gives them full Uber charge advantage. Shade has claimed that he's running crits to mid. I didn't look before he died, but I assume he's a man of his words. So regardless, it would have an advantage for Ascent in terms of which is better. But now that they're in here, they have popped the Uber charge off. Blaze managed to bomb in and get the force off. So that's pretty good for froyotech. You know, now they don't have to deal with that Uber charge. They only lost one player. Nursey really did not want to have to pop there. Shade's at 70%. I expect him to push in. The question is, can Ascent also force Shade?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like they're trying to reload these stickies up as they're gonna actually take down Marmaloo early. It's gonna be bomb into choke from behind. They're gonna try and... Shade actually hasn't popped his crits off yet. He's trying to hold it off. Peep gets arrowed by Nursey. Oh no. They're gonna crits onto Banny. They're gonna find Zaylor, and they're gonna actually chase Happy Cool into lobby. They're gonna be chasing Nursey into last. So a very strange play on second, but it's gonna get them to point. They're gonna be at significant Uber disad as well as crits versus Uber.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Ascent want to do off this. Obviously, they had a huge Uber charge advantage, but holding the last point against the best team in the world, I mean, it's tough to push out of that. You got to be careful of back caps. This map, Gullywash, definitely a good one for back caps. Not the best we've ever seen, but you can see Banny's going for it. Yite's watching it, though. Zaylor will get the kill onto him. So they pop the Uber charge off. Nursey, she wants this. They're pushing all the players out of big door, out of the point. They're not going to let any back cap shenanigans go down. They've counted for all the players. Blaze a little caught, but he's going to drop down through the drop down and be a-okay. But here comes the Chris now from behind. They're gonna get Nursey and Yite. There goes Marmaloo as well. They get the kill on the medic, but 3 kills with that Crits Krieg. So well done. Blaze bombing in now, trying to take down Zaylor in the air. Gonna wait for him to land. Will get the rocket on him to finish him off. Jumping around now. Happy Cool. Can he do anything here? He's got the support of his soldier. It's aim, but someone's on last. It's Eric.
That was an incredibly just solidly timed crits play from froyotech. They came in as soon as the Uber ended from Nursey, and they just got 2 kills pretty instantaneously. And it's exactly what you want out of a crits. You want kills fast, and you want multiple ones. So we're going to be going into this next mid here, and immediately we're going to see froyotech taking a lot of early damage. They're going to be trading out Marmaloo for Blaze on this lower ground here. We're going to see a bomb from aim coming into the elbow area. Zaylor and Eric...
Bless you, console. That's alright. We're almost finishing this mid. In fact, froyotech got every kill except for Nursey. She's trying to run away there. It almost looked like it was going in a sense way. They got the kills they needed to. Now they're all the way back on their last point, though. It's completely fallen to a disaster. Banny's still peeking into this last point. Won't manage to get any kills, but just frighten everybody, back them off. Make sure that they can't contest the second point as easily. Mid only being capped by Blaze at the moment. Eric's going to get there in time, speed that up. Because it took so long to cap that middle point, Ascent actually have some presence here on the second point, and froyotech have absolutely none. So they're not going to be able to push in despite getting every single kill except for the medic. A little bit unusual there, but I guess good play from Ascent. It's a little bit sloppy from froyotech. They lost a couple key capping players. So this is going to be alright for Ascent to slow that down. But this is never a good position. You're already down 1-0. Now you're stalemating. You don't even hold the middle point, and froyotech, you know they're going to aggress on you. Eric already in through big door and into lobby.
Yep, the one thing that might come into play here is Nursey is on that Uber and Shade's on crits. So if they know about it, that they might actually try and come in here, as they do walk through choke and actually going to take down Blaze. They're trying not to pop this Uber off, and they're going to take Yomps down as well. There's still players in the back lines as Eric takes down Yite. And there's going to be a fight going on in lobby, but Marmaloo's going to clean it up, and the crits is going to come out. Happy Cool's going to go down. Oh no, Nursey's dropped 2. This is unfortunate, and they're going to have to back up off of this.
Yeah, that was a huge misplay by Nursey. You can't be losing 2 players in the Uber charge. The first one was a little unexpected. That's kind of forgivable. The second one is just not what you want to see. Aim's not even going to live for it. He's going to stall for his medic to get out. And that gives Uber advantage, or crits advantage, I should say, back in favor of Shade. He's at 45% and growing quickly. Ascent huddling back on last. froyotech, there's not going to be any other sorts of an advantage in terms of players unless they get a kill. But I assume they're going to want to push off of this crits as fast as they can. You can see Yite up here on the Pyro trying to stop the push from coming in. He is in river, and Nursey actually getting a little aggressive, running through the river down below, disconnecting from her team. I guess it's fine. She didn't die or anything, so it's not the end of the world. But froyotech rotating out in the main lobby, they have 100% now.
Yep. Nursey's actually about to come up on her Uber, so if Froyo doesn't move fast, then you're going to have basically no advantage to walk off of, and it's going to even out now, so... Maybe they'll send a sack here. We see Blaze trying to maybe make some room here in River. He's gonna actually get flared down, and there he goes to the stickies. They're gonna get a scout and water, and actually he's gonna try and trade out for Marmlu here on the point, so it might be catalyst for Froyo to make something happen. They're actually gonna bomb in the other soldier, try and get it force off from Nursey. Nursey, 17 health, milking so hard, not dying to Yomps. Those are some brass, some balls of steel from Nursey as she decides to walk out on the second point with her team.
Yeah, with that 100% Uber charge, Nursey's popped it off. Shade's still backing off, has held onto it this whole time, only losing Blaze. Now they're going to come back in with it. Eric pushing deep on a Zayler in lobby, going to get that kill, but cleaned up himself with a pipe. The crit creep from Habib has, oh, there goes another one onto Marmalou, so he's doing quite a bit of work. 3 players live on both teams. Happy Cool so caught out in a 1v1 with a buffed Banny. That's never going to favor you. He's going to get cleaned up. Banny does go down, though. Aim on top, able to follow up on a scout's damage. Now trying to push Habib out of the second point. Shade's in with him, though, and Aim's really not hitting the rockets that he needs to. Has to back off. No teammates there to support him other than Nursey, and froyotech holds at the second point.
Yep, they will also have this crits ad, as it is 60 for Shade and 50 for Nursey now. It's going to be building faster though, so if they move quickly, should be able to capitalize off this without much trouble. Looks like they're going to be walking their team in towards the river area. And if all goes as planned, they need to move quickly though. This Uber advantage is diminishing, and actually Nurse is going to get it now, so unless they're going to send a sack at this point, it doesn't seem like anything promising will come out of Kritzkrieg. Looks like they're going to be trying to peek their scouts and soldier, and as Blaze goes down and they see him bomb on the point, we're going to see Yomps once again double bomb, take out Happy Cool and Zayler. And that's just Captain Furrio.
They didn't even use their Kritzkrieg that whole time. They capped the point and did not pop their crits. Meanwhile, just getting so many kills on Ascent, I think everybody was just too afraid to pop their charge, and at some point, Nursey, you just gotta use that.
You hate to see it, Cornpop, but we will be going into the third mid, so maybe Ascent will be bringing something different to the table, and they will, as we see a huge high pump coming out from AIM, shutting down Blaze on the low ground, gets traded out quickly by Habib. Happy Cool to go down as well, and it's just looking like another, unfortunate mid for Ascent.
Almost feels like there's not a lot of coordination on the side of Ascent. They're gonna bomb in one soldier on the mid fight. They'll get the kill on the enemy team's roamer, and then you see after that, Marmalou will head for the medic, but he can't get 2 rockets off because Shade's already at full HP. I don't know, there's something missing in these mid fights. Our analysts already said that the key to winning this map is going to be on the mids and killing Shade, and so far they're not really doing either of those well. Contesting the second point, though, they will force most of froyotech off of it. Blaze not able to get out. He's fine with that. Going to jump right on top of the demo man. Bombed on by 2 soldiers, though, not able to live. Zayler will die from the fall damage, though, so that's a pretty good pick from Blaze. I didn't think he'd get it, but with the fall damage in his favor, no demo man on the side of Ascent. That makes it kind of hard to hold this second point. The question is, froyotech, are they going to be able to push off this? They've got their scouts and medic in onto the big door. They've snuck Eric in behind. Banny's back there as well, trying to take down Marmalou, who's defending these scouts. Not doing a good enough job. He's gone down. Yite here as well. Banny needs this pack to spawn. There's demo behind him. Off the respawn, Zayler able to clean up the froyotech captain. And now they're in with the Kritzkrieg. Eric takes down Zayler for the second time. He goes down very quickly. Nursey did use her Uber charge. She's getting all the way back to last with her scouts. Happy Cool, if she can. Already a soldier in here.
Ascent are just getting wrapped all over the place and not able to hold their flank down. This big door has been such a great pushing area for froyotech, and they've been able to get a lot of just really opportune picks out of it, but Ascent able to recover, and not for long as they try to push through big door, and they lose Happy Cool, Aim, and soon to be Marmalou. Banny will get traded out, but they're gonna lose 3 off of that, so not ideal, and they're gonna have to concede second point sitting in the lobby now.
They just put so many players into that attempt, and it went awful. It was so terrible. That's all they got for Banny. Not really great for them. Now they're going to pop the Uber charge off onto the second point. They're going to get Habib before he can manage to retreat. That's a pretty impactful pick. Eric's up on Sniper as soon as this fades, but he's still trying to get into the fight. fighting now. Oh, Eric's actually way in behind.
No.
Here comes the crits. Yomps is gonna get one on him. Oh, the hair shot onto aim. At the same time, Eric gets the headshot onto Nursey, and that was a couple of flashy plays, one after the other. Puts froyotech in control of this second point. Only 3 alive. Yikes, 7 HP. Will scrape back to last. Ascent though, not looking good.
Things are looking grim indeed. They've got Happy Cool Phelps up on Pyro, so maybe their only chance to defend this last, but it's too late as Yomps is already in, gonna take Marmalin down early. Does die for his troubles, but shouldn't be too much of a big deal for Froyo. They're coming up on this 80% crits, and a headshot and cleanup from Banny onto aim is gonna open this last right up as they have no soldiers. Happy Cool's gonna go down as well. And Froyo's gonna walk in with crits onto the scout. They're not finding anything so far, and actually Shade and Banny are both gonna go down. Oh, that's so unfortunate for froyotech. They just didn't play together. See, the sniper's still kind of deep in river, and he's gonna get a pick onto aim? How do you let that happen?
They at least traded out, so Eric going down means that numbers will be even, at least for the time being. Ascent gonna be able to push back on the second point, and I like that it got so chaotic for them. Gonna take down Blaze Marmalou with a nice couple of rockets, loses life for it, and Banny's not gonna commit to this most likely. He's taking a bit too much damage, although he's buying time. Yomps bombing in onto top of Nursey. She's gonna have to pop the Uber charge off. That's not what she wanted. Perfectly executed by the froyotech bombers. They're gonna lose Habib as well though, and that's probably not as according to plan. Him going down, still gonna give Shade the ad that he wanted, but player in behind now. Eric's gonna take down Yite. No way he gets Nursey here with the arrow. Finally, she cleans him up.
Eric in Big Door has just been winning Froyo all of the fights. Not only just going behind and getting picks, but just, for example, Ascent had a 2-player advantage there, so they could have tried to push something onto mid and maybe leapfrog afterwards. But not Happy Cool. Eric just decided to go behind and just delay Ascent, so just keeps their focus, which apparently I do not have at all in this match. Shoutouts to ADHD medicine.
Well, Nurse is up at 100% now, so we've all evened out. And froyotech, they're not giving up on the peeking yet. Obviously, they've snuck Eric in behind through lobby once again. As you mentioned, it keeps happening, and he's done so much work in the back lines. Eric and Big Door, name a more iconic duo. He's doing it pretty well right now. All the way back to last, Marmalou and Yite are trying to chase him down. They're going to be fighting him back here, and a nice couple of shots from Yite will win the 1v1. But over on this middle point, it's a disaster. There goes Aim, there goes Nursey, there goes Happy Cool. I didn't even see if Nursey managed to use her Uber charge or not, but regardless, they didn't really get anything at all for that other than Eric dying in the back lines. Marmalou going to go down as well with a shotgun from Yomps. Zayler and Yite, the last 2 players left alive, running back to last. Surely this is going to be an opportunity for froyotech to score their 3rd round and end the half very quickly.
Well, they will be at 50% here, and they do still have a pick, so they have opportunity to still even just try and inch their way into last here. Otherwise, they do have quite large advantage to go off of, and they've been quite successful in the past in just working off of that. So we'll see what they decide to do here. They're just sitting in lobby right now, and actually it looks like they might decide to take this crits into the river here as we see Shade coming up on it. They're going to walk both their soldier and their scout into water, and it looks like they're going to come onto Habib here. Blaze is going to go down, and the crits is going to get popped off. It's not going to find anything yet. It's finally going to find one of the scouts, but I think that's going to be just about it. Actually, he gets a really nice air sticky onto aim, and actually that might be the entrance they needed, as they're going to be trading a lot of players. It's actually just Habib and Shade left, so they've capped Shade?
What?
What?
Excuse me?
Where are you, Shade?
He was underneath her. Was he hiding in secret? I think he was hiding in secret. He might have been underneath the point. But regardless, I was just about to say it was a success for Ascent, but it was still so scrappy and dangerous at the end. And there it goes. Shade. Oh my god, he's gonna cap it off. Reportedly using the controller as well. I don't know if this is facts, but this is what they're talking about in the chat. We're at halftime now, console. It has been a fast first half, and froyotech, as we kind of predicted, looking so dominant on their map pick.
Yeah, the things I've noticed that stand out to me are,
Okay.
As you pointed out in the beginning of the second mid, Ascent's mids have just been uncoordinated at best. They
Yeah.
seem to be playing kind of away from each other. They kind of have ideas of like plays they want to go for. And the other thing is Eric just keeps on pulling player after player behind through that big door, and it just keeps on dragging players back and dragging the Ascent's attention. But we are going into the second half very quickly if you want to take us away on this mid.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Only 2 more rounds needed for froyotech to secure the first map in this first best of 3. Aim the high bomb now. Gonna be just doing a little bit of distractions. Blaze up the drop down though. He's gonna be getting in right behind Yite, but everybody's looking at him. They can take him down easily. Yomps able to capitalize though. Got 2 kills already, and now it's all for Yomps. He's gotten 4 kills so far in this mid fight. Happy Cool Marmalou will follow. Finally, Habib finds one on an aim before Yomps got 5 kills on that middle point.
Well, I believe in Counter-Strike, that's what we call an ace, a 5-man kill. I guess it's not quite as impressive since you haven't killed everybody, but you know,
Wow.
Still a decent effort out of him on mid. As we see Froyo once again coming up on full crits advantage. They're just gonna be slamming the gas pedal into last here as we see once again another crits probably going through into the server area.
45% only from Nursey, so froyotech got all the time in the world. Losing Blaze, though, is probably not according to plan. They're going to pop the crits off anyways, and they're going to get aim and Nursey immediately with the first sticky. Thrown in some pipes now. There is a pyro to try to deny their entry, and it's kind of worked. They haven't gotten in, but they've gotten all the kills they need to. Erickson behind, getting some cap time, and now they just need to collapse onto the points. Everybody's going down, and froyotech are going to lead 4-0 early.
If you're Ascent, your spirits just have to be crushed right now. Like, the first few halves, first few rounds, you know, while they were mostly froyotech dominant, it was a little bit back and forth. You saw Ascent able to push back, and now we just see Froyo consistently just destroying Ascent as we go into this next mid, and actually Shade's gonna go down, but we do see the frags trading in the ways of Froyo, so Nursey will have that Uber charge, but I think that's about all she will have with her team as she's holding up top with only Marmalou on second right now.
It feels like with these mids, Ascent, they always start with a plan. This time it felt like the plan was, alright, let's focus down Habib, but as soon as that plan falls apart, everything falls apart. All Habib had to do was back up, which is exactly what he did, and all of a sudden they just look so lost. AIM managed to find a kill onto Shade, which is going to allow Ascent to get back onto this middle point. But still, they're looking so sloppy, even when they have their most successful mid so far, despite technically losing it. We'll see if they can even get back in. They're taking so much damage walking through this big door. Zayler's so hurt and not connect with the team. Surely he dies. Blazer's going to walk into him, get that kill for free. And Ascent have wasted so much time. Shade already at 55%. They're going to get another one too. Eric onto Yite. And this is going so wrong. Finally, Ascent popped their Uber charge off, but for what? Are they going to get Eric? They're not even going to get Eric. Finally, a nice rocket cleans them up, but that's still so little and so late as well. Ascent finally back on the second point. Nursey in the fire, so low, 10 HP. Banny just needs to walk in onto her. Happy Cool trying to defend the medic, but it's not going to be enough. They both get cleaned up by Blaze. He's on a 5k right now in Ascent, in shambles, about to lose their first map.
Ascent just looks so lost on all of their pushes. They're playing away from each other. They're not sure where they're taking damage from. Comms are probably hectic by the way they're playing. It's so unfortunate to see a team, especially in the previous best of 3 they played with froyotech, where they really look like they put up a dominant showing, look like they can contest with them. And now we're just seeing Eric on Spy hiding in the corner, while Shade's gonna come in through lower with the Kritzkrieg by himself. No, he will have players with him, as they are gonna be sitting in the river, but it looks like they're getting ready for yet another fat Habib crits. Rare occurrences. Happy Cool will go down, and so far that's actually all they've gotten. They're gonna flash it onto the Banny Scout, and it's not really gonna actually get much, but they don't need much as they've gotten the Nursey stab and they've gotten the headshot. Oh no,
man. She was healing them too. That's the disaster part. But AIM might be actually pulling this back with the help of Yite. They're gonna lose one. That's Yite down to Habib. Shade's down below again. He wants that back cap again, but AIM is thankfully watching this time. Gonna run right into Happy Cool, who's kind of surrounded on both sides, and now jumping out of the point. Blaze, this still might not be over. froyotech want to get in on this, and Shade is again down below. Surely not. Surely not.
Shade is trying to redefine what it means to make a Harblue play. He will get caught out though. Marmaloo finally checking after a disappointing back cap in the 3rd round, I believe. 4th? Numbers are hard. In one of the rounds.
It's 3rd.
Yeah, but preventing yet another back cap from the Shade sneaky medic plays. We do see the Eric heavy though, so froyotech taking a page out of Marx's book. They're actually going to be on a significant Uber disad and crits versus Uber disad at that hasn't really stopped them too much so far this game, Cornpop. So I don't see what that's going to do. They do actually find Eric in the back lines, but Bang is going to go behind and he's going to win the one. What the heck? Cornpop, what just happened?
Console, you know what you do if you run a scout in and it doesn't work?
You run another one in.
You run a second scout in. All right. I mean, Eric ran in, died to, I believe it was Marmaloo. Died to one of the soldiers regardless. And Banny just said, well, he's hurt now. I can go in and clean up that kill, get the cap. And Ascent weren't ready for it at all. A 5-0 in an incredibly dominant map. So, yeah, that was the first map in our best of 3. froyotech now only one map away from winning the grand finals. And Console, it's only 11:40.
I don't think Cornpop, for the first time this entire season, I think we'd get it. I'm gonna get to bed on time after casting an ESEA match.
Quite possibly. I mean, it was a bit of a roll, but we'll still pass it over to our analysts, see what they have to say. What went wrong for Ascent?
Well, I think we're pretty much right about the 20-minute thing, but off about the round we thought that Ascent was gonna get. At the beginning, I wasn't that mad at how it was going, even though Ascent was losing the mids. I thought that Ascent was going to have to work really hard to try to figure out how to beat froyo mids and like not get completely wiped. But there was actually a lot of mid fights that that even though they didn't take the cap at the end of the day, they still were able to like do something on their own too, which is good for them. It gave them a lot of time to try to attempt to like make some sort of play or get some sort of actual hold together. But it seemed like a lot of Ascent's pushes on the things that they were going to try to attempt to capitalize on weren't really that smooth with their Ubers.
They were not good at spotting Shade or Habib or the combo the entire time, especially with the Uber. They could have just, a lot of times they could have just walked into them, and they tried to do that later on, and then they completely beefed because froyo just outplayed them and left. They had a couple blind Ubers that just were really awful for them.
Yeah, I definitely want to point out the blind Ubers. There was a lot of those that came out from Ascent where they kind of had like the right idea, but they didn't really scout for enough information, like especially pushing into mid. They knew that Shade was on crits the whole time, and their reaction was kind of like, okay, let's go in and take an Uber, but their timing for it was really, really bad, and they tended to go for that sort of play when stuff was already behind and there was a lot of chaos already, instead of just taking an engagement on the fact that they have invincibility and froyo does not. And so I definitely think that they had the right idea with some of their pushes, but it just didn't seem to execute very well. I will say that a lot of the mids, though, were sort of back and forth, except for the one wipe, I think, in the second half. But again, you see that Ascent kind of tries to slow it down a little on the mids and try and take their time. The mids that were close tended to be more long-winded and didn't really end as fast. So that's, as you can see, that's Ascent's natural sort of style there.
One thing that I was kind of noticing is there were a couple times where I feel like froyo, they didn't really make a mistake, but they definitely like left a hole somewhere in their like game plan that Ascent could take advantage of. And like I think there was a couple times where like maybe someone was sitting in like maybe not an ideal spot, like watching the wrong door, or they would get spotted trying to take a crits and then not like change up where they were critsing. They would just say, screw it, we're gonna crits from here even though they've seen us. And Ascent would try to capitalize on it. And I feel like there were some mixed results with how they were able to use that information. I really feel like, you know, sometimes they were able to like, oh, we spotted a crits coming from this door, we're gonna stuff it really well, and they like did that. But there were other times where I feel like there were things that were just as noticeable that Furyo were doing that they weren't able to really capitalize on. Like there were a couple times where you see crits come out where, you know it's coming from this door probably unless they re-rotate, and they like know something's coming and it just doesn't really work out. They just die to it anyway. And I kind of feel like that there might be a little bit of maybe lack of synergy. I don't really know. I don't think synergy is the right word, but I feel like a lot of times I'd see like Furyo would go in for maybe like just a sack or something, and you want to ideally have people like watch certain doors, have certain roles, make sure that every single like base of how you're going to be holding a point is covered. But Furyo would just like notice a hole and be able to take advantage of it without screwing up at all. Whereas Ascent, they would notice it, but I don't feel like they'd be able to capitalize it correctly every single time, and that definitely hurt them being able to not take a round at the end. They definitely could have, I think.
One thing I would like to say as well is just sort of the difference in the composure of teams there. I definitely think, like, in my honest opinion, that at about 3-0, 4-0, I was like, this map's kind of over. And it definitely kind of comes down to just the overall atmosphere of Ascent. I definitely think that the players on Ascent versus Froyo, like, just in terms of recovery and round losses and stuff, they get a little more rattled. And I definitely think that might be the answer to your sort of like, they seem a little bit not cohesive, I guess, is that I think that there might be a little, like, throughout that match, that they probably got a little rattled that things were going so fast and maybe their expectations were a little higher in terms of their performance, and it just wasn't going their way. So I think they might have started playing a little bit messy and stuff like that, and Froyo just capitalized on that. I will say that for Ascent to sort of have a better chance at getting rounds off, or even a win in general, is that they need to get early rounds, just because I think that when things start going down south, I'm not sure if they really have a player on that team that sort of goes, hey guys, keep it together, we got this. I definitely feel like they're the kind of team that sort of, once it's going south, it's going to stay south. So, whereas Froyo has more of, a lot of them are LAN veterans, Banny's played a million LANs, so they kind of have a huge amount of experience under their belt. So, I definitely think that their recovery in terms of just high pressure situations is better, and that definitely goes for them into just this series in general.
Well, they may have been able to take Gullywash 5-0, but now we're on to Ascent's map. It'll be loaded up shortly because there's a little bit of a gap in between the matches for playoffs. But now we're going on to Metalworks, which is the map that Ascent decided to pick. They've played it a couple times this season. I'd like to say they're not that bad at it. They're pretty good. I can see why they picked out of all the maps. I know Furyo had some sketchy matches and scrims this season on Metalworks, so maybe that was inspired partly by that and partly by Ascent's stability on it. So we'll see if we can have a different change of pace in terms of who's taken the W for the next map. Paddie, how do you feel about Froyo on Metalworks? I know you had a actually very close match against him this season.
Yeah, I definitely think that Froyo's metal is actually quite weak, and a lot of that has to do with Habib. Habib is 100% a sore spot for Froyo on the mids. He does this typical play where he tends to roll out in the top left area where the fence or bats or whatever you want to call it is, and he'll just kind of spam up there, and he gets pressured out and then does a long rotate through lobby. And usually when he does that play, there's a huge opening of vulnerability where the demo is just completely out of the fight. And that tends to be where Froyo is weak, and you can sort of capitalize on the mids. Like we said earlier on the last map, it definitely is going to come down to mids, but I think that's the case for, just the series in general is going to come down to mids. And this is definitely a map where you can take advantage of the fact that Habib sort of has a much weaker mid relative to his other ones. I definitely think Campy will probably outplay him on these Metalworks mids. So I definitely think Ascent could have a much better performance on this map.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ascent tries to do more aggressive mids, especially on this map with Habib rotating. Because I know they like to play passive from playing them before. They like to just kind of wait and see what happens, and Marmalade will just sit in their pack and wait for someone to push him. But if they're just going to play the wait game, especially with Habib rotating, and if they're running crits, they're just going to lose the mids. So I'm hoping they change it up.
One thing we might see different actually is the pace of the game. Even though crits is being run, it might change a little bit. All I remember from my match with Froyo is like me and Habib were basically useless for the whole game because I'd have to sit on sticky traps just trying to prevent a crits from happening through a tiny doorway, and Habib would be trying to get through them and he wouldn't be able to do it, so they would just like say screw it and crits Yomps instead through some open doorway, or crits Paddie or anyone else. So compared to Gullywash, which is a very Demoman dominant map, now we're going to a map that's not necessarily bad for Demoman, but there's a lot of areas in the map where you can't really rely on him to be like your guy to deal all the damage and, you know, make the plays happen. And the way that Froyo's been playing recently has been a lot on just crits Habib, see if we can get some kills and go off that. But now, you know, it's not a guarantee that that's going to work out exactly the same way as you would hope on the previous map, which is maybe another reason why Froyo hasn't been as stable on the map, because their whole thing this season has just been, or for a while now, it's just been, you know, just crits Habib and have Habib be the centerpiece with Paddie supporting, and we'll get some kills and go from there. And it's been working, but on a map like Metalworks, where it's, you know, really tiny, a lot of indoor spaces, there's only a couple, like the skybox is huge, but there's only so many places on it that you can, you know, actually abuse that. Kind of makes me wonder how fast this match is actually going to be in terms of pace.
Alrighty, well, we're going live here on the second map. As you guys mentioned, Metalworks will be the battlegrounds where Ascent risk losing it all, and froyotech have their opportunity to become the grand champions of the 28th season of ESEA. Console, real quick, do you agree that this is probably more likely for Ascent to pull out some rounds? Alrighty, I agree. Well, coming into this first mid-fight, Zayler's going to get a lot of damage down onto Habib to start things off. One little sticky could help them out here, especially since he's taking a little bit more. Everybody passive so far on both of these teams. Shade taking quite a bit of damage, though, and having to surf out. Will live. Nobody's really going for that fast bomb that they need to be able to hold on. There goes Paddie. There goes Habib. Okay, Blaze gets the bomb, though. Perfectly timed right before Nursey can get to that health pack. There's the follow-up air shot onto Zayler, too. So a great bomb in and a great mid overall from Blaze. The rest of his team can't quite say that they had the same success. Shade on the controller on that Chris Krieg will be able to make it back to his team on the last point, but overall, Ascent have not managed to lose that first mid, which is a first in this matchup. Still fighting here on second, though. froyotech will be able to hold on to it, clearing out some sticky traps, and because Shade lived and there was a really nice bomb by Blaze onto Nursey, they likely won't be able to hold on to it for too long. We'll see how the stalemate goes. Shade does have it. It is Chris Krieg, of course. They managed to do some damage onto Eric, and here it comes. Popped off. Paddie gets the first kill on Marmalade. There's another one. Blaze on aim. Paddie so low HP. Finally, Blaze will go down, but there's so many kills already. 3, 4, 5 all ready for froyotech, and it's only Yite running around. I don't even know where he's at. There he is, trying to flank in onto Habib, but Habib's not going to let that happen. Hits him with the pipe. He's going to be A-okay, and Console, I believe you figured out how to unmute yourself.
I figured out how Mumble works, Cornpop, and a quick status update that I noticed from the chat. Apparently, Shade's controller config was not working properly with Team Fortress 2, so unfortunately for him, he will be using the inferior keyboard and mouse control setup.
Tragedy.
As Froyo will be walking into this, oh, Blaze actually is going to go down. Froyo's going to get bombed on by Yomps as well, or Yomps, AIM as well, so unsuccessful push from the yard area. And actually, they're going to have the crits, and they're going to pop it off into Habib, so maybe try and find something. Nothing yet. They will find Zayler. A nice snipe. But everybody else is going to get out successfully from Shutter, and Nurse is going to have this Uber on last.
Alrighty, not too bad of a retreat then from Ascent. froyotech still trying to get anything aggressive that they can. Habib poked in, and Banny's actually run in behind. He's going to get some time on point. Everybody from froyotech's already in. They're going to get a kill on Nursey. Zayler going down as well. They trade Banny and Yomps, but the two-man sack for the scouts to get the medic and the demo man. Still Blaze coming in, making some work onto the scouts. They're jumping around. Eric is in deep, dealing a lot of damage. Zayler, very little HP, bombed on by Blaze. Surely he gets this kill. There he goes. Now it's just Habib and the medic up against Yite and Marmalou. Can they manage to get these last two kills? They're so aggressive, and they will lose it, but Shade was building that whole time, didn't die. They got the kill on a Nursey. Still a huge success for froyotech, where really they should have had none.
Yeah, Shade's actually going to still be playing fairly aggressive on this point. As you said, they do have the advantage, and this crit has been fierce out of them so far, as they will have all their spawners. I'm guessing they're just waiting for Habib to roll out here, as they are trying to walk this Uber advantage into last. There is a sentry gun to deal with, which the crits isn't always the best at finding. So if they're able to get this up to at least a level 2, I'd say that they have quite a decent chance of holding against this crits. As we do see the high bomb coming out from the soldier immediately denied, and we see the crits coming out from Habib. He's not going to find anything quite yet. He's going to find some damage, but nothing else. Sentry will finally go down. Yomps is going to go down, but there's so much cap time, Cornpop. They're going to finally use the Uber onto point. They're Nursey able to build it up there while Froyo were coming in, and it's just Shade and Habib left.
Yeah, they're okay. That was a good hold from Ascent. A little bit risky with that cap time because they all played it really passively as soon as that crits came out, but that did keep them alive. In the end, all that matters is they're managing to keep the second point, and they're not going to go down 1-0 early in their own map. So, but to cap it off, here's the bomb in from Yomps, though, trying to make some stuff happen. Blaze is not far behind, throwing aim way up into the air. He's going to crater before he can survive, and Zen aren't even... Oh, they did manage to get the cap on the second point, but they're not going to hold it for long. Eric trades in, gets taken down by Zayler. Marmalou also falls. froyotech are going to recap this. It's not a huge Uber or crits advantage for Shade. Surely Nursey should be able to get this back up. Based on how they played Gullywash, I don't expect froyotech to push with such a small advantage. However, they're opening the shutter and they've managed to push. So here they come, getting the crits creek onto Zayler so early. But again, Nursey has her Uber charge. Jomps going for that air shot, not going to be able to land that though, not in a million years. Defending this point successfully, Habib pushed up to the left-hand side. froyotech, I think that one was a little bit too ambitious. Ascent seemed to have feet under them for once.
Yep, Froyo getting a little bit overzealous, deciding to maybe go for the BM crits into last on close to almost even Ubers, and it doesn't pay off for them, as you see Ascent turning over the advantage. But now they're gonna lose Happy Cool and Yite, both of their scouts down as they try and push into the second. So the push-out's quickly gonna end, and we already see Banny rather, trying to get in from the flank. A nice rocket from aim, and they're gonna get cap time. Where did Eric come from? The point is almost capped already, and we're gonna see another bomb in. They're just playing cap time, Cornpop, and the crits comes out.
Ooh. Okay, they just need to kill Eric, and this is not going to be too dangerous of a crit. However, he's gotten 3 kills already in this life, and he's still alive. He's managed to surf his way back. He's right on top of the point. Managed to finish off Marmalou before dying himself. But again, though, bought enough time that Shade was able to live, and Banny's still holding W. He wants this kill onto Nursey. There's a couple of soldiers here, though, a demo man as well, making sure that doesn't happen. But already, there goes the demo man. Blazes in. Nursey has to pop her Uber charge off, and it's non-stop aggression from froyotech. And whereas Shade, nowhere to be found. This Uber charge, not a chance that they're going to be able to kill Shade. So he's still building. They managed to get themselves an advantage once again. And Ascent have been having so much trouble pushing out of the second point. Again, they get aggressive on the last point, trying to get in on the second, and they're going to lose Yite because of it. They have no real strategy to push off of this last point that froyotech isn't countering.
Yeah, and something I was actually just gonna wonder if Froyo were gonna do. Banny comes up on Spy with all this cap time, and Froyo's main objective just being play the cap time, bait the players, and then spam point. This Froyo Banny Spy play is pretty opportune. I don't think it'll be totally expected, though. He actually gets hit by a straight pipe. He's gonna make it out, just barely though, skin of his teeth. So that will know the spy exists and Banny on 48 HP, I'm guessing is just gonna... Is it gonna take the L, or is he actually gonna try and walk back out? We see him inching his way through this right side. He just ate the rockets, Cornpop. He was hungry.
He sure did. Banny not really known for his spy plays, and I think we're finding out why. I would be very surprised if he comes up on that class ever again throughout this game, unless it's just having fun. froyotech are in the lobby though, and they're just finding kills. There's free players all over the place. Why not trade out the demo man as they pop the recharge off? Nursey, if the center are gonna pop there, and there's cap time on their last point, so they have to run all the way back with this uber charge. Again, it seems like they're pushing out and they're getting completely lost. There's no coordination within the team. Drop them, man. You have to retreat. There's no players in front of you, even if you didn't have a back cap to deal with. Shade's still got 100% crits. They're just waiting for their teammates to spawn up. Marmalu's going to check the off classes on Spy now, but... Oh no. Is this the Eric Heavy? Oh, they're going to pop crits in with Eric Heavy.
Well, we will be seeing what is going to be very depressing to watch laser beam heavy. We'll see if it works out. Seeing how it's gone so far, it likely will, as Shade is healing everybody up, trying to get into this main from left push. They're not going to pop off the crits yet. They finally do onto Habib, and he's not going to find anything just yet. The Uber will be popped up from Nursey. They're able to get it in time, and actually they're focusing down this Heavy really well. He's so hurt, only 40 HP is going to get arrowed finally, and no frags are going to be traded, very surprisingly. Nobody died in that push.
But the important thing is they got the force off of Nursey, and because this crits is going to build faster than the Uber charge, it's fine that froyotech played that passive, and it might be a little bit weird because they've gone all in on every other push, and then they've gone even more in. They've gone more than all in on their past pushes, but this one, they played it safe, they kept everybody alive, and now they're going to have crits at, and you can tell that they want to utilize this. They're already pushing in, they're only at 75%. That's going to hurt them, though, because they lose the beat. Bandy getting some point time, which is going to be important, and that's all that's going to be important, because the rest of the team are just stalling. Bandy gets the cap.
The play there from froyotech was actually so cerebral. They sent both soldiers in on a super high bomb, and they just completely collapsed Ascent back into their spawn, and the scouts just walked on point and took it for free.
You know, Marxist couldn't be here because of family issues, but somewhere in a swamp in Indiana, he's got a smile on his face after that heavy play. Worked out for froyotech. Now they're up 1-0. Now it's the second mid fight. And Ascent didn't do too bad on their last mid. They actually managed to win it despite the fact that they did lose Nursey. So we'll see if this one works out as well for them. Aim getting juggled up in the air. Has to fall down back to his team. That bomb doesn't work off. Blaze trying to capitalize off it. Gets a rocket onto Happy Cool. Gets the second one. Great shot by him. Aim trying to follow up on that damage, but he's still alive in on the back lines. That's Yite. He's deep, but he's not going to be able to find too much after his first kill onto the Demo Man. That means Shade is staying alive, and it's a 3-on-3. froyotech with the positional advantage. Do Ascent want to fight this? That's the question. They don't have a scout, and froyotech have two. They're going to pop the Uber charge off, though. They still want to take this fight. This is very risky, and it's because scouts can just run away. The Uber charge got absolutely nothing. Now Shade's at 100% crits, and they're going to pop it off onto Eric. He gets Nursey very quickly. Marmalou will be able to get the kill before he gets taken down. In fact, will he even die? Yes, he will. Eric gets the cleanup kill. Banning the back lines. Doesn't find much at all, but Nursey going down there is the big play, as well as Shade dying in that fight.
Yeah, we still haven't seen this mid capped off, so depending on what happens here, we might actually see a mid refight. Not after that, though. Blaze and Habib gonna take down Zaylor and Happy Cool respectively, and Ascent will actually pick off Blaze as well, so players will be even, and both medics will be coming up here. So both teams have heals for now. Nobody has Uber or crits for that matter yet. But it seems that Froyo will be taking this mid in a rather non-dominant fashion.
And I'm worried right now, Console, because Paddie kind of mentioned that once Ascent get in a mindset of, oh, we're just losing, you know, once they go 3-0 or 4-0 down, they kind of starts to steamroll from there, and they almost seem like they give up, and without the momentum, they really don't have an ability to back up. And it's 1-0. froyotech are in a position where they could be going up 2-0 shortly. Ascent, I feel like they need to get some rounds on the board, and they need to get them fast, because it could snowball very quickly here if they don't get too careful. Now, it's 100% from both medics. Shade goes down, though. Marmalou, a great bomb in. Managed to take down the medic. Couldn't pop to save his life. That's a Chris Krieg. It's not how it works. There goes Blaze's Yomps as well, getting taken down by the Demoman and Scout. Now you gonna trade off for it. Nursey in so much trouble. Surely she's gonna go down here. Habib out with the stickies. He's missing all of them though, including the pipes. Eric in the backlines, though, will clean up for the Demoman's mistakes. Zayler's going to get one. Eric does go down, and there, nice shot by Happy Cool to be able to take down Banny. Some good scout DM coming out from him, but it's a little bit too late. Nursey's already dead.
Eric has been just playing behind. His flank timing has been superb. I mean, at this point, we can just call him the North American Starkey. He has just been playing behind, and his timing for coming back in and pinching with the rest of his team has just been impeccable, Cornpop.
He's really excelled in that role, and that's something that I always used to credit Yomps for back when he played Scout on Ascent, before switching over to froyotech Soldier. His timing on his flanks were always so good, and maybe able to transfer a little bit of that over to his partner, Scout, now Eric, who's been playing very well. I mean, Eric played well before Yomps was on the team, but that much better. Blaze in with the bomb. All players grouped up, managed to find the rocket on Nursey regardless. Can't get the follow-up, though. Nursey runs back into that shutter, and I hear a Crits Creek popped off, but I'm seeing nothing in the kill feed. Marmaloo might get cleaned up. There he goes, down to Eric. Eric gonna get traded potentially. This bomb by Blaze does go down, and here comes Jump for the follow-up. Gets the force out of Nursey. That's exactly what they were looking for. I don't even have to look at my screen to tell you that Shade is all the way out. There he goes, back on the middle point. All they wanted after that crits was a complete disaster, was to force out Shade, and now they're gonna have a huge crit set that they can use in the next fight, assuming they don't get rolled back, because the aggression is not stopping from Ascent. There's a back cap, though, from Eric onto second.
He will be meeting, actually, Happy Cool, or not Happy Cool, Yite, sorry, in the 1v1 on second, but it's going to pull the entire team back, and it's going to delay their chances of trying to aggress mid and stop Shade from getting his Crits Krieg, which he will now have, and he's now going to be walking into this yard area. So we'll see what he decides to do here, as he's actually walking with Habib towards the left side, and looks like they're going to actually maybe pop it off, maybe not. Looks like they're trying to get in without using it, but they've found nothing so far.
You know, if that shutter door was a player, he would be so dead, because Habib hit that shutter door with nobody on it. Dead square in the middle. Great job if that was his goal. If not, though, Nursey gonna hit the air shot on a Blaze with that crossbow, taking down the roaming soldier for froyotech, and it's a bit of a chaotic fight, one that froyotech are seemingly coming up on top of. Marmaloo, very little HP, does follow. Zayler hits a nice pipe on Eric, but I'm not sure it's gonna be enough to hold on, has to back off. Only Nursey survived with her demo man, and she's gonna live. I mean, those are two players you want to survive in a fight. They're not done getting aggressive, though. You can see with Yite coming up to join the two pair here, they want to push in onto froyotech. They have no uber charge to speak of, but with the scout by their side, they're feeling confident, maybe a little too confident. Nursey's gotten a little bit low, and Yomp is in with the shoddy. There goes Yite. They're doing a lot of damage here in this lobby area. Exchanging a couple of frags, and there's two down from both sides. No back caps or anything going down, so all this hectic chaos hasn't ended in much, but it's 95 from Shade, and now it's getting dangerous. Healing Banny. He's taken these crits before. Zayler's already died to Eric over on the flank. And froyotech with a 3-man add. 2 now as a respawn comes up. Gonna be able to pop this crits off onto Habib. But he's really not hitting anything. He gets bombed on and just gets completely destroyed. There's some players on point. That's Eric. But he's not gonna be able to do too much. Nice defense from Ascent.
Yep, we see 3 left on Froyo alive, as it will be Banny, Yomps, and Blaze left to try and defend the second point as their spawners come in, and it seems like Ascent are taking a really long time to get out here. They're finally going to get out on the point, but not before the heals, Demo, and Pocket are all back from froyotech here to bomb. Double soldier bomb here, and it's going to force the Uber out from Nursey. They're going to find one, but that's about it, and they will get the cap, but not without Shade getting a huge crits ad. Banny is going to get taken down by Marmaloo, but there's going to be a lot of pressure coming back in from Froyo, as Blaze is going to bomb in and get Marmaloo, and there's going to be a lot of pressure from the Demo Man here, as he's trying to just spam off point, but they're going to lose 3, and they're going to have to back out here, actually. Froyo beefing that a little bit.
It seems like froyotech lost a lot, but it also seems like they kept just enough players alive and just the right players alive. Habib to keep his traps up, and Eric to run Shade out if he was in any danger. And just those 2 fragging players left alive. Shade has been able to survive himself, and he's going to be able to pop this crits off. His team will be getting up onto this point as well. And all they need was the threat of the crits to push all of Ascent back. They're not going to get any kills with it. A sticky trap from Zayler is also actually going to claim Eric, so that's something for consolation. But froyotech, just with the fear of popping that crit streak off, they're going to get happy cool as well as Ascent try to regress. And this is the position where Ascent always struggle, pushing off of their last point. Now, they never really held their last, but regardless, it's the same situation. They get Blaze this time. They pop the recharge off cleanly. How much more can they get, though? They're trying to push Paddie out of that lower area, but his team is there to support him, and the recharge is starting to fade. 35% on Shade, and it's all faded on Nursey. They get Paddie in the end, but ultimately, I don't know if it was enough to get off of this second point. They will cap it off, but not able to steamroll it as far as maybe they would have liked to.
Nursey's been just doing, Nursey. Shade's just been doing an amazing job of not getting caught out, because the problem with the crits versus Uber is when you're even, right? Uber beats crits because you can walk into the players while you're invincible, but Shade's been doing such a good job of just kiting out and just winning all these fights with the crits, except for when Habib misses everything. So, maybe not winning out all the fights, but maybe on fear alone and Yomps' power shotgun. And Marmalou will also go down. So... Oh no, the wrap. The Blaze wrap is so fat, and it's gonna get the force as well as a pick. Blaze will go down to that, but that's more than what he wanted there, as Shade's gonna have a big ad, and they're gonna be down a player. Eric will go down, so a little bit unfortunate for Froyo. We see Happy Cool trying to salvage something, as well as the other Soldier Bomb here. He's so high, but he's not gonna get anything. Tries to get at least a rocket onto Shade, but can't even manage that, as Shade now walking in with his Crits Krieg. This is looking like all she wrote for this half. Or no, this round.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's only 1-0, so I don't know if it's the half you can call it just yet, but regardless, it's looking dominant for froyotech. They're gonna get a sticky onto Yite, but not enough for the kill. Marmalou will go down, the first casualty so far. They're throwing rockets, they're throwing stickies across this point, but again, Habib really not finding too much in this map. Last map he was pretty on fire, but this time he seems to be struggling a little bit more. Blaze and Yomps jump on that point, not going to be able to do a whole lot. Happy Cool and barely HP, but dodging all of the spam, doing a great job. Zayler staying alive with the help of Nursey as well. Now they got to make sure that Eric doesn't just cap this off. This happened before. That's going to bait the point for froyotech. No. Unless Marmalou's... No, not a chance. Ascent wipe, and froyotech get their second round.
Even as good as Marmalou is, I don't think he wins that 1v4 against heals and scouts.
I wanted to believe.
You always want to believe in Marmalou. Oh, my dog's in the chat.
Please.
But, please. But we will be going into what is looking like the third and final mid of the half. We see Habib showing up considerably faster than the enemy demo, and he's going to put a lot of damage on him as well. He will go down as Marmalou goes for the early bomb, but Eric is just going to clean everyone up, finally going to go down himself, and actually Ascent are doing not a lot as Nursey dies.
Well, the hectic fighting is actually working out all right for them. If they can kill Shade in the midst of this, only Happy Cool left alive, though, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Phelps loses the pistol. Paddie got 3 on that middle point, and it was almost looking good. You know, a lot happened, and it was very, very fast for Ascent. They got in a really quick bomb. Marmalou excellently executed onto the enemy demo man. Habib was not a factor at all in that, but the issue was Zayler was also not a factor because he died very, very early. I believe it was to Eric, so... Just a lot of stuff happening very quickly, but again, slightly in favor of froyotech. They got the medic pick a little bit sooner. Nursey caught up in lobby and not able to do a whole lot when she's dead. So that puts froyotech in advantage, and most importantly, Shade in advantage when it comes to that Crits Krieg. They're already peeking on the second point. Might not be too long before they pop this off. A high bomb from Marmalou. Not going to commit to it fully, though. Just wants to push them off. They're going to lose Paddie before this Crits Krieg's popped off. They're really hesitant to want to pop this. There it goes, though, and it is right on the Nursey. He hits it when it counts, but it's not going to matter. There's a great bomb in by AIM, takes down Nursey. 3 Froyo players left alive, and they're all chaotically in the midst of the Ascent players. Blaze manages to get a couple of good frags. Second one on to Marmalou, first one on to Zayler. Now it's just Happy Cool trying to defend the second point, but he doesn't have enough HP to win that 1v1. And Eric, you know, he hits those shots.
Yeah, that fight there just evolved into a 1v1 in alley, and then a 2v1 on a bridge. And unfortunately, the 1v1 was lost by the scout, and the 2v1 was unlikely to be won in the first place by Ascent, so they just kind of conceded the frags and dropped all of their players. And now we see Froyo with, once again, considerable crits advantage, and looking to take this round, and they're going to be in the Slavy area, Cornpop.
Yeah, but with Shade so dangerously close to his crits creek, he's gonna pop it off as soon as he gets it. There goes aim. The first casualty, it is a Yomps crits. It's going pretty well for them so far. Eric on the flank finds Marmalou jumping in. Big bomb in by Yomps, gonna get that point time. Now a Scout has to challenge him. It's gonna be Happy Cool. He wins that fight. Banny going down as well. Means that Ascent have the players evened out, even having an advantage right now. There goes Blaze, but Zaylor also gonna get traded out. 3 down from both sides. Throwing up in the air. It's Yite, so very little HP. Barely misses that arrow. His Nursey. Eric's gonna go down though, and unless Habib can pull off a miracle, no, he cannot. Not against the Scouts. froyotech not gonna be able to get this cap off.
Yeah, Nursey doing a really good job of keeping her team alive during that fight, and the crit's not finding a ton. Actually, Banny's gonna find a frag on second, and actually, Nursey's gonna be left out to dry alone on second. She kind of just stands there, kind of almost angrily with her Uber Saw out. She's with her team, but not healing them. Banny will go down, but they're gonna be slightly hurt, and actually, they might finally try and walk something lower. We see the Yomp sniper though, so this could be potentially very lethal for Freya. Are we paused?
Yes, we are.
Cool.
Kind of a yeah. We do see a pause here. Hopefully, it's nothing technical. But Nursey popped pushing out of that last point, which is why she wasn't healing her teammates. I'm not really sure why she had to pop. I wasn't watching exactly, so maybe somebody forced her. But it seemed like they were out cleanly.
Yep, so basically what happened there is that Nursey, her team, the scout and demo that were with her, decided to walk away from her just as Blaze decided to jump on top of her, and in frustration, she popped and then pulled out her Uber Cell. But we are going to be unpausing now here, Cornpop, as we see a mid-refight, and a lot of frags going the way of Ascent for once. The sniper is actually going to find Nursey with the SMG kill.
Oh my goodness. Eric types sit into the chat. Doesn't want that medic to live. Shade, will he be as unlucky? It doesn't look like it. He's backed off, gotten the pack. Gonna be A-okay. And yeah, that's just pretty unfortunate. It was a very good bomb in by Blaze. He got 2 rockets onto the medic, but wasn't enough for the kill. A quick cleanup with the SMG takes down the medic Nursey. And that's gonna leave Yite in a desperate situation in 5 players. Finally, Eric just pulls out the melee weapon and says stop that. Not gonna happen. 90% on Shade now, and they're gonna be pushing pretty soon.
Unfortunately, Cornpop, in the words of Phelps, it really do be like that. As froyotech come into second, we see the double bomb try and at least force the crits out or kill Shade, but it's not gonna find anything. Happy Cool's gonna go down. Marmalou, Nursey, the names drop, and so do Ascent's chances of winning this round, as we just see Yite left, Habib hitting the ground air pipe, and Froyo are walking into last with 6-second respawn on every single player on Ascent.
Yeah, no chance that they don't cap this right here. Once Habib started hitting his crit stickies, this game sped up by quite a bit. I think that's sort of the story of these last 2 rounds, because it was slow for a while, and during the first couple of rounds, it really looked okay for Ascent. I mean, they weren't winning anything, but they weren't losing them at the same time. You know, they were managing to stalemate things out, which is kind of depressing to say that that's a good situation for them to be in. But certainly better than what the second half of that first half was.
My biggest worry with this grand final is that we're just going to have no exciting grand finals this season.
Okay. But think of it this way. I mean, we've seen a cool couple of plays, right? There have been some nice air shots that you can put into a frag video. So if nothing else, if it's 2 5-0 rolls, I'm at least happy we got to see a decent show.
Yeah. Well, air shots and some nice crits Kriegs have transpired, and those are always fun to see. I casted the Open Grand Finals with Terry on his own channel yesterday, and it was a similar story, double 5-0, and that game was under 30 minutes. So I'm hoping Ascent in the second half can put something together, otherwise the Grand Finals this season will have been a bit of a wash, and we will be going into the second game.
IM finals were pretty good, though. I mean, that was a pretty nice upset from the 4th seeded team, taking down Mr. Popo and then Fink Gaming.
I will give you that much, Cornpop, but we are going into this what could be the 4th of the last 5 rounds of the second map of ESEA Invite Grand Finals featuring froyotech versus Ascent Esports. Take us on this mid.
Well, it's been pretty slow so far. Habib taking a little bit of damage early, but he's back up with Shade, so he'll be able to heal back up. Now, Nursey's going to pop her Uber Charge off. Oh, there was some pause shenanigans, and this is kind of a disaster. Habib going to go down. There goes Eric as well. It helps when you have an Uber Charge at mid. That's the
bug, isn't it?
Yes, that's the pause, but so we had that pause come out, as you remember, and we kind of thought it was during the halftime. At least I did, so I didn't bother mentioning it. But with the pause coming out, Nursey was able to build Uber Charge in the rollout and had it for that fight. So Ascent, no matter how legitimate that might have been, they've won a mid.
Actually, I'm looking in the chat, and I'm wondering if using that bug or unintentionally manipulating it will cost him as a round. As Banny said in chat, that's a round. Are you that desperate? So, curious as to see whether that'll actually affect the outcome of the game. Froyo will be retaking mid here pretty successfully, and Nursey and Marmalou are just going to die.
Alrighty. It doesn't even look like it helps. Ascent, they can use bugs to build Uber Charge all they want, but it still seems like froyotech comes out on top. Eric takes down Yites. Blaze will fall to Zayler, but at this point, froyotech still looking so good. Shade will have probably 40% advantage growing because he's on that Kritzkrieg. Shade's so aggressive right now. I don't even know what he's up to. He's not healing. Strange predicaments, but oh well.
Well, we will see a last hold, at least. We'll see Nursey on the Uber Charge. Will be at about a 40% disadvantage to Shade, who's building up that Kritzkrieg nice and steadily. Will not be any weird pausing shenanigans, so they will have this advantage, and they will be trying to walk this in the left side, as we do see once again the Habib crits coming out here. It will be popped off just now, and once again the high bomb's coming out. He will find Yite and aim really early, and they're actually going to flash their soldiers. The Uber will come out, but not after they've dropped so many players. They will find Shade, but at what cost? Marmalou's down. It's Zayler, Nursey, and Happy Cool to try and defend this. And a really nice air shot coming out onto Happy Cool. Finish off by Habib. Nursey cleaned up in the post round, and this is looking like Froyo winsies.
Yeah, froyotech talking a lot of trash in the chat. Ascent completely silent. That last hold, I mean, they didn't really have the best opportunity to hold that. It's kind of lost before it even started, but it was a decent attempt. They're going to try to fastball on Habib. It'll work out for Marmalou. Even Uber charges at the start of this mid-fight, which is nice to see. And froyotech look like they're getting a little bit stuffed here. Yomp's coming in for a bomb, but Zayler shot out of the air by Eric. That's not going to be great for the Ascent team. There goes Blaze, still fighting here. Yomps is in deep on top of Nursey, not going to be able to hit the air shot though, cleaned up by aim. And Ascent had the player advantage, but not the positions. Two scouts still alive on the side of froyotech, as with the Kritzkrieg as well. Popped off on a Banny. He's not hitting the shots that he needs to though. When there's so many players alive, it can be really hard for a scout to actually focus fire and get those frags. That's exactly what we're seeing there. Not a great Kritzkrieg from froyotech, and Ascent will take this first mid.
I think this is the second mid they've won in 10 rounds, so...
No, it's their third. If you include last one, yeah. Because they won the first mid on this map.
This is true. So congrats to Ascent. You've done the middle fight. So now you have to win the second fight, and you have Uber advantage to do it. However, we see the 1v1 coming up for Marmalou, actually kind of just alone in lobby, so that's going to open up the flank for free for Eric, and Blaze just kind of transverse. We see both soldiers and the scout going behind, and we're going to see a mid back cap here, as Ascent aren't able to do anything on second with their Uber. Now they're just caught between a rock and a hard place. We're going to see Yomps putting up huge frags in lobby, picking up aim, and Nursey is going to go down, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's just Happy Cool and Marmalou. What's going on, Cornpop?
Doesn't seem like much good for the boys in blue. froyotech have managed to take the middle point, as mentioned. And now they're running in onto the seconds. They have 100%. They're just going to pop it off, take the free kills. They lose Bandy, missed that, but Eric is still here, and he's hitting the shots that he needs to. Taking down a couple of players. There goes Marmalou as well, eating the pipe from Habib. 3 players left alive on the side of Ascent, and they're currently back on the last point. getting ready to try to hold. It is even Uber charges, but again, Shades will grow a little bit faster. Ascent looks so lost. They're about to lose the grand finals if they don't win this fight. An arrow from Nursey will shut down Eric, and that's going to probably stall it out from froyotech unless they just want to hold that W key. They might pay for it. A bomb in by Blaze, eats the ear shot, taken down, and I think this will be a hold from Ascent no matter how bad froyotech just want to force it in there. They could pay for it even more. Nope, Marmaloo won't be able to get the bomb in onto Shade that he was looking for. And Ascent, they gotta be careful. This is the push-up that they always seem to struggle with. They have a scout in deep, and Shade's on such little HP. 8 health right now.
Nursey's alone.
All alone, yeah. Can she get the follow-up kill onto Shade? It was possible, but otherwise, nobody else really there. Taking a smart move. Nursey just gonna back off to her team. 3 teammates down, though. That's not really where you want to be with that push-out. Again, when you get those kills, Ascent have just been struggling so hard on these push-outs.
Ascent are visibly frustrated in the server at this point. I mean, you can see Nursey just going off by herself for arrows and her team leaving her. Teammates baiting each other. They're going to get the Uber off against this crits, but they're going to lose too. And frankly, I don't see them holding this, as Habib is going to frag their last remaining scout, and we're just going to see the soldiers just collapse on bombs. Blaze will actually get taken down by a nice pipe from Zayler. He's going to try and defend last as well. He's the last one alive here with Nursey. Nursey's going to get the Uber saw, but it's just, oh my god, it's Nursey versus Shade. Who would have ever...
Unfortunately, it's Nursey and all of Ascent versus Shade. Shade's still gonna get out somehow. The respawn's not coming in fast enough. Shade, aware of those respawn timers, so ingrained into his brain after years and years of playing, still manages to live in a situation like that. Now they're holding the second point still, and it is, again, ad for froyotech. So if Ascent want to push out of this last, doesn't look like they're trying, but if they were to, they would struggle quite a lot. And because of that, they're just gonna sit back on this last point. Paddie tempting Ascent, saying push us in the chat. They just want it to be over, and it's been so dominant so far. 5-0, 4-0 at the moment. Ascent, they seem hopeless.
At this point, I don't know what Ascent can even do to take a round, let alone try and win anything. I mean, we can see Froyo are just getting aggressive in lobby, making room for a scout to get in. Baney's going to try and get in. Try and get something off of it. Eric's going to go down too. They're going to send a 5-man. They've done this once before against Ascent on Snakewater in the regular season, and it was actually a successful 5-man into a last push. So we'll see if they can actually convert it once again. They got the force out of Nursey, which is the idea of a 5-man, as they're going to come up with Yomps, and this is just... I feel like I'm instant replaying their Snakewater play from earlier in the season on a different map, Cornpop.
Well, it's the same team, probably pulling out the same strategy. We'll see if it works this time as well, though. Metalworks, I'm not sure if it's more or less friendly for heavies on the push in a second, but look at Ascent. They're getting so aggressive in lobby, not even necessarily aware of the froyotech players who were in Valley. They're going to meet them, however, and Nursey's the first to fall to the crits. There goes Zayler as well. Banny's gonna die, but it doesn't really matter. 3, make it 1. It's only Happy Cool left alive, but it's only Habib and Shade left alive for froyotech. This is a very winnable fight for him, but Habib's hitting these pipes. He just needs to connect one more. Happy Cool gonna heal up to 86. Doesn't matter when a pipe does 100. There we go, Habib.
It's the beginning of the end, Cornpop. We see Nursey alone on last on Pyro. Will switch back to Medic once her team comes up, as there's no use playing Medic when you're alone and there's no one to build with. They will be at a huge disad, and we're seeing the Yomps Eric spy plays, Cornpop.
Double spy coming out from froyotech.
They win these.
That's what they say. You know, it could be a valid strategy. You throw in one spy, right? He dies, doesn't get anything. The enemy team, no way would they be expecting.
Eric just
all right,
so
no way. I know. The sticky trap randomly gets the completely invisible spy. But now, who's gonna expect Yomps, the second spy? Here comes the Uber charge, hoping to create some chaos, make things work for them, and I don't even know if they're gonna need the second spy. Getting some time on point. They're gonna get Nursey, and that's the end. Console, that might just be the most dominant ESEA invite playoff finals I've ever seen.
Cornpop, I just want to point out a very depressing statistic here. So in the entire season, postseason and regular season, for the season 28, Froyo dropped a total of 7 rounds. That is the equivalent to how many rounds they dropped to Ascent in last grand final. So just showing what kind of a tear that they've just gone on this past season. It's been so dominant, more so than any season I've ever seen Froyo play.
Incredible. Well, I want to hear what our analysts have to say about it, if they were expecting that or not. So we'll be conversing with them before we'll try to get some interviews for you guys. But Jarett, Paddie, Speedy, was that what you guys were expecting?
Well, another Swift 5-0, and then that'll be it. And Froyo will take their second and final map on Metalworks. A little bit longer than Gullywash, but honestly, I kind of feel like I was watching Gullywash Incarnate. Like, there were a lot of similarities in terms of, you know, Ascent sees a hole in Froyo's game plan in terms of the crits or whatever, and they try to capitalize on it, and then all of a sudden, you know, the second part of their plan just crumbles, and Froyo wins at the end of the day anyway, in terms of like pushes and stuff, which was kind of disheartening to see, but it just kind of shows that even when Froyo can make a mistake, they can patch it up really quickly and take the victory.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really get from that watching that game is that, I mean, it was slower and Ascent definitely like didn't let Froyo roll off a lot of momentum, but I mean, Froyo was realistically just in control the whole time. There was never a moment throughout that game where I was like, oh, here comes Ascent, you know, with a round win. It was really just Froyo playing, you know, just playing their game. And I mean, they didn't even have to really get off their crits. I mean, that's one thing we should point out, is that Ascent didn't even do well enough to like make Shade get off of crits really, and so that's just how good Froyo is right now, relative to everyone else. Yeah, so
The crits didn't even kill people half the time. It was like it still had success, like, but compared to Gullywash, the success rate was much lower. Even due to the fact that it was still going off, like the small amount of space that is created from everyone trying to scatter or stuff or however they choose to respond to it happening was enough for Froyo to try to find a way to work something out. And even if the crit sticky didn't actually get a kill, it still was able to, you know, pave a way for Froyo to be able to take the next point and continue to set up to take the point after and rounds off of it as well. So give Froyo an inch and they'll take a mile. I think I don't know. I kind of thought that it would be a little bit closer because this was like a map that Ascent was a little bit more comfortable on, but as said previously, I think the issue that happened in Gullywash in terms of making sure that like there's some synergy with making sure that doors are being watched and things are being stuffed properly, and that your team's working together and flanks are being controlled, wasn't exactly there for whatever reason. And like I said before, I don't know if synergy is really the right word because obviously they've been playing with each other for the whole season, but something was just off for sure. They weren't really like together in terms of, right, you're doing this and I'm doing this and playing really well off of each other, and Froyo definitely was, so that'll probably be another indicator on why Froyo would be able to sweep 5-0 very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like they were actually giving them a chance by running full-time crits on Metalworks and how not like super effective it was. They just lost every fight after that, and their Ubers weren't very good. It's just all around bad for them.
Because this game was so, I guess it wasn't quick in terms of one-sided is, I guess, the term I'm trying to think of. Because this game was one-sided so much, I think that's pretty much all we have in terms of analyzing it. It was a very Froyo dominated game, and that'll be it, I think.
Yeah, it was really just a repeat. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to fix up what they needed to fix.
yeah, I mean, the one prop I'll give, or not the prop, the one sort of thing that I'll give to Ascent is that they did have some relatively good mids at the start, but they sort of tapered off there and they lost that momentum. So, but other than that, it was the Froyo show.
All right. Well, we are talking potentially to get some interviews in here. But yeah, that was quite a roll of a game. I'm not gonna lie. I think statistically, just by rounds lost, I think that was the most dominant season froyotech has ever had. I said that last season because it was true last season, but I think this season was even more dominant than the last. So froyotech's really looking like giants in the North American scene. We'll see in 1 week, actually, I believe, how they stack up against another continent, though. I-63 is coming up. I know you guys won't be attending as far as I'm aware, but do you have any thoughts on that? How froyotech might do against the Europeans, specifically 7?
From what
Oh,
I've heard
there you go.
personally, I've heard that the Europeans are not in the best place right now to be like very, very competitive overall versus Froyo. It's looking like it's just 7, and even then 7 has like some work to do still, and there's not that much time left, but who knows? This wasn't off of me personally seeing anyone play or anything, just some people that I trust. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm expecting, but I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see some close games.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how they play against European teams, different play styles. Hoping it's closer.
It's always kind of interesting at the very least too, because you, like you said, a lot of play styles. People play differently and do a lot of different things and come up with it, or at least maybe not come up with, but use different strategies a lot that you're not necessarily used to. You know, when you're playing ESEA, you go to these grand finals. Froyo versus Ascent. Well, you've played Ascent in scrims and in matches throughout the entirety of the season. You kind of have an idea of how they're going to be playing when they're going into the grand finals. But when it comes to any other European team, unless you like actually sit in and like try to watch some demos or STVs or whatever, you're not gonna really be too sure. You get maybe a couple days of boot camp if you do boot camp at all, but otherwise you're kind of just going in cold, just trying to feel it out and make fixes on the fly. So that'll be kind of interesting to see, a bunch of different play styles clashing against each other that you're not necessarily familiar with. You only have a plan going into it of like, that this is going to work. You just kind of go with what your strongest thing is and see what happens.
All right. Well, we're getting some players joining us now. Bani, Habib, welcome. First of all, congrats on winning ESEA Invite Season 28.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I have a few questions for you guys after that match. First of all, that was one of, if not the most dominant Invite Grand Finals I think there's ever been. Did you expect that coming out from this Grand Finals?
No.
No, definitely not. Every other match was a bit closer than that, so that dominance, especially combined with the fact that our practice has been a bit like off this week, I was kind of expecting it to be a lot closer. And I also know that Nursey tends to put hours and hours into preparing with the team, and so I thought they would be a little bit more formidable, I guess.
I definitely thought it was going to be a lot closer too, because literally the last time we played Ascent, we played them on the exact same map, and we beat them 5-3. But this time it was like a just clean 10-0.
Yeah.
So it was honestly underwhelming and not really satisfying. But
Yeah,
it's
that
whatever.
we played them on Gully before and beat them every time, and that they weren't like banning it. And then the fact that they went for like kind of a off pick with Metalworks, I thought they had something up their sleeves, but is not really any different. I think they thought that map was like a bad crits map. It probably is, but if they're at the point where they're picking maps based on what is and isn't a good crits map, I think we're pretty much
We're
in
already in their
that
heads.
point. Yeah.
So what was it wrong with Ascent? I mean, for this match, clearly the rest of the regular season, they weren't a bad team. I mean, I think they deserved to have that second place spot. They've had close matches with you before. What was different tonight?
AIM
a
had
good
like
question.
112 ping. AIM was playing the entire time with like a European ping.
AIM was lagging, that's true, but still had a pretty decent impact relative to everyone else, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's hard for me to pinpoint exactly what it was. Just like we kind of had really good reads on them. We didn't get punched very hard by like Ubers. I don't know. Everyone was just playing pretty well.
Yeah, we were prepared. Even Shade wasn't throwing either. So.
Oh yeah, that was a big factor too.
Yeah.
I think despite Shade being on crits, he threatened to use the controller full time and all that kind of stuff. So he didn't bust that out. So he was a little bit more focused. today than he has been in the past.
I see. And during, I believe it was the fourth mid fight, there was a bit of a pause glitch that went on. We kind of have a delayed pause in the STV.
Yeah.
So do you have any idea what was up with all of that? If it was intentional or what the consequences were?
What happened was that Marmalou got glitched onto our team at halftime, so he had to rejoin the server. So we paused. Nursey built Uber during the pause and then popped immediately on mid, which was obviously a pretty bad move.
The moment
on
I
their
saw
part.
it, I thought Shade would have Uber too, to be honest, but I guess he wasn't healing.
Shade didn't. Yeah, he didn't abuse the exploit, and even if he did get Uber, he wouldn't have popped it. So that would, like, that's the only solution. If you accidentally get Uber, just don't fucking pop. But Nursey just like comes barreling across mid and Ubers immediately. It's fucking dumb. And then they lose anyway, so it's kind of justice, to be honest.
All right. Well, straying away from this match, froyotech, you still got plans coming up pretty soon here. I-63. I'm assuming that's what you've got your sights on. How do you feel about that tournament coming up against the Europeans?
Yeah, we're going to LAN this coming week, and we're going to be playing with a different roster, so I'm just going to get our LAN roster with Cookie Jake and Garbuglio practicing for the next couple days, and then straight off the LAN. And I'm pretty confident. The change isn't really that dramatic, because kind of the core of the team is intact with me and Habib, and Yomps and Eric, I guess. So us four have a really strong chemistry and all that, and everyone else just like Garbuglio and Jake kind of fit that nicely. As far as the European teams go, I mean, we're planning to just play our style and do all that. Not really gonna be too like we're gonna overthink it or overcomplicate it.
Yeah, no reason to stress. You just gotta stay level-headed. Always super key. Stay focused. Dragon energy.
Yeah, I mean, LAN's a high pressure environment. It's a lot of things can happen. So as long as we're just focused, play our game, everyone is feeling good. I think we've got a really good shot at taking it.
All right. Well, that LAN will be happening next weekend. That's will be casted on the Essentials.tf Twitch channel. So if you guys are interested in watching that tournament, which you should be, it'll be a great time. Go ahead and check that out. But for us, that is going to be it. Thank you guys for joining us with the interview. Thank you for the analysts. We can do some shout outs. Paddie, do you want to start things off?
Sure. Well, shout out to everyone who's been on the show and watching the match, and also GG to Ascent and everyone else who played out the season and is building teams for next season. That's what I mean, we need to keep this competitive scene going. Otherwise, just shout out to Essentials and TFTV and everyone who contributed to our I-63 fundraiser.
Habib?
Yeah, I mean, shout outs to you guys for casting it and the analyst desk. Yeah, shout outs to Jarett, shout outs to Habib, shout outs to Dwatna, shout outs to Baronsky, shout outs to Platinum, shout outs to Zalox, shout outs to Dummy, shout outs to Ducky, shout outs to Smacka. Yeah, guys, GG's.
The ghosts of demos past.
Oh, yeah, and shout outs to Mustard Overlord.
Jarett, do you have
shoutouts to newbie mixes, even though I haven't been able to be there in ages. They're still funneling people into ESEA and teaching new players how to play competitive TF2 every Friday night. And if you want to help support that, you should definitely check out the newbie mix drive and help them any way they can. Or join it if you're interested in playing ESEA for the first time.
Paddie?
I guess shout out to the people that play, mainly Ascent and Froyo for putting on a show, even though it was a bit of a short show. It's fun to watch, and yeah, not much else other than that.
Oh yeah, shout out to Paddie for telling us not to lose a round to them before the match.
Speedy?
He PM'd me that.
Shout out to my team and all the sponsors that are still sponsoring TF2 teams.
Yo, shout out to Speedy.
All right.
Highlander Medic.
Well, guys, thank you everybody for watching the stream on all the different Twitch channels. Really appreciate that. And that's going to be it for Team Fortress TV's coverage of ESEA Season 28. As I said, next weekend, check out I63 on Essentials.tf's Twitch channel. But for us, that'll be all. So have a good night. We'll see you next time.